We'll just,
Good enough?
all good.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the guitar workshop, Understanding Modes of the Major Scale. So my name is Wade. Well, you don't know me, but Gavin does. And so like today we'll just be skimming through the material, okay? Like we'll never be able to cover the modes of the major scale in 1 hour. It takes normally a whole year if you're at a university kind of thing. So we're just going to be skimming, okay? So it's really important that you listen when I'm talking and stop playing your instrument, because you will get the opportunity to play scales and the licks in your own time. I'll give you time for that. And so today we'll be basically learning the Aeolian mode from all of them. Okay, we'll talk about them now. So can anyone name the modes? Anyone name them? Have you heard of them before? That's cool. Okay, so like there's a mnemonic system which is a good way of memorizing them. But like, so the major scales basically come from the major scale, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So, and with the major scale comes a chord. And so with with C, it's major, then it's minor, then minor, major, dominant, minor, half diminished, if you guys have heard of that before. So with the C note, it's C major, 7, 7. And then with the D, it's D minor. And then with the E, it's E minor. And with the F, F major, 7. And then with the G, G dominant. Then A minor, and B half diminished. So basically the modes are the scale that go with the chords. And the first one is Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, B Locrian. But like I said, we're going to be looking at Aeolian today, which is a minor. They're pretty flash Latin, Italian kind of names. But a good system to memorize them, I always memorize them with I, dig, practicing, like, Mike, and Lance. So you guys, that's the kind of thing that I remember. Some people have all sorts of crazy ones about frogs and animals and any kind of thing, like every frog goes down every bubble for like key signatures and things like that. You've probably heard of that one before, and all kinds of things. So it's just an easy way of remembering that. Otherwise the best one is, another good way is repetition. Just keep going over it and over it. So that's where the major scale comes from, okay? So like I said, we're not going to learn all of them today, we're just going to get into the Aeolian shape. Okay. So there's two ways of learning them as well. There's a derivative approach or parallel approach. We're not going to get too much into it because it's too much in-depth stuff and just confuse you. So we're going to look at parallel today, and as we go on about it, you'll start understanding it more. So basically we're going off the chord. When we see a major chord, we know you can play C major. When I see a minor chord, I know I can play any of the minor scales. So when we see A minor, I know we can play A minor scale. A minor pentatonic, or just the straight A minor scale we're going to do today, Aeolian. And it's also got other names. What I hate about music, so Aeolian can be called the natural minor, the pure minor, the minor, or Aeolian. So I'd just rather call it the minor scale, to be honest. But it sounds pretty flash, Aeolian. Okay, and so like, as I said, we'll be skimming, so we've got books available for you to purchase if you like. Otherwise, if you don't, which is fine, I'll just photocopy the page that you've done so you can take it home, and you can take home handouts as well. Okay, so first I'm just going to take you guys through the book. So we're going to be looking at page 11 and 12, but every single page in here and all the modes are all the same setup. You'll see that it's the exercises on one page, the scale patterns on the other page, all the same exercises, just that keeps it simple. Locrian, same exercises, patterns on the other side, okay? And the good thing about the major scale is when you check out your book, you're going to find all the patterns are the same. So by learning one shape, you've actually learned all of the modes shapes in one way or another. It's just a different starting root note. Okay. So now what I want you guys to do is check out, we're going to be playing fingering number 3, as I just mentioned to you guys before while waiting. So on the opposite page are 5 diagrams for C Aeolian scale, okay? 5 of them. So if you had an institution, full-time university student, you'd have to learn the whole lot in every key by a term, usually a term. So we're just going to look at one shape, maybe two if you already know that one. just so then we can have a root note on the E string and a root note on the A string. Just that stops us from just staying in one position, and we can move around a bit. Okay, the root notes are black. These are all the C's. These are all in C, by the way. Fingerings can vary, okay? However, one finger per fret is really common. Like Joe Satriani, he likes to go, and then Steve Vai will go, and then some students like to go that Carlos Santana, and then a classical tutor will say use one finger per fret. You must use one finger per fret. But I don't really worry about that as long as you can play it. But in general, I like to go one finger per fret as well, and it's really standard. So backing tracks number 11 and 12 play fingering 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, starting from the lowest root note. Now it plays it in quarter notes, which is just 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and then it plays it in eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it plays it in 16th, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. So I'm not expecting you guys to be able to play anything up to speed on just one lesson, but after a week or two or a month or however long hard you's go on it, you should be able to get that up to speed. Okay, so now what I want you guys to do is just before I play it with the CD, just brush it up a few times, just go over it by yourselves for like 2 to 5 minutes. Fingering number 3. So you just have to remember that, like I told you just before, that's the fat string and that's the skinny string. And that's everywhere in the world, whether we go to Japan, America, Europe, wherever. It's just a universal thing. Because I probably would have just put it on the top string and just easily read, but like a lot of students want that, but they can't because we've got to keep it universal, you know. Because just brush it up for a few minutes, give us a few minutes to brush it up, and then I'll play it with the CD so we can play along with it. Backing track, okay? So just go for it for now. Good. We'll go for 5 minutes. Maybe less, because I'm sure you guys know this shape. It's a real common one. That's the one. Good. That's the one. Oh, that's better. That's the one. Good.